The game opens with king pawn to e4 from Morphy, and Loewenthal answers with e5, a classic double king pawn opening. Knight to f3 develops white's pieces while attacking the e5 pawn. Black responds with knight to c6, defending. Bishop to c4, the Italian game formation, aiming straight at f7. Black mirrors, with bishop to c5. Pawn to b4, the Evans Gambit, a romantic-era favorite. Morphy sacrifices a pawn to blast open the center and accelerate development. Black could decline with bishop b6, keeping material, but Loewenthal accepts the challenge and takes with bishop takes b4. Pawn to c3 attacks the bishop. Black retreats the bishop back to c5, keeping the gambit pawn for now. Morphy castles kingside, tucking his king to safety. Black plays pawn to d6, reinforcing the center. Pawn to d4, the center explodes. Black recaptures with e takes d4. White recaptures with c takes d4, opening the c-file. Black retreats the bishop to b6, getting off the d-file. Pawn to d5 Morphy stakes out space in the center, kicking the knight on c6. The pawn advances with tempo, forcing black to react. Knight e5 was the natural square, centralizing the piece, but it also blocks black's own e-file. Knight f5 was possible to keep the knight on the rim, but Loewenthal correctly chooses the active square e5. Knight takes c5, Morphy exchanges off black's centralized piece. Black recaptures with d takes c5. Bishop to b2, aiming down the long diagonal at black's advanced e5 pawn. Black develops the queen to e7. Bishop to b5 check. Morphy forces black to deal with the check. Loewenthal blocks with bishop to d7. Bishop takes d7 check. Morphy trades off the defender and gives another check, forcing the king to d7. This exchange weakens black's king position permanently. Morphy could have maintained the pin with bishop c6, but taking immediately disrupts black's coordination and exposes the king. Queen to g4 check. A powerful centralizing move that forces black's hand. The king is already awkwardly placed on d7, and now the queen attacks from the flank. Black defends with pawn to f5, blocking the check but critically weakening the kingside. Morphy considered queen h5 as well, keeping pressure on f7, but queen g4 is more forcing and flexible. Queen takes f5 check. Morphy grabs the pawn with tempo. Black's king runs back to e8, trying to find shelter. Bishop takes e5. White captures the central pawn, and black develops the knight to h6, heading for f7 to defend. Queen to f4, keeping the pressure on. Black's king retreats to d7 again, still unable to castle. Knight to d2. Morphy reroutes his knight toward the action. Black plays rook a8 to e8, activating the rook along the e-file. Knight to c4. The knight lands on a powerful outpost. Black moves bishop to c5, centralizing the bishop. Rook to d1. Morphy doubles pressure down the d-file. Black shifts the bishop to d6. Bishop takes d6. Morphy eliminates black's defensive piece. The bishop on d6 was guarding key squares around the king, and now it's gone. Black recaptures with c takes d6, but the pawn structure is shattered. Morphy could have played queen f7 check, but after king d8, black's king escapes and white's attack stalls. The bishop trade is the more systematic approach. Rook to b1, targeting black's b7 pawn. Black pushes pawn to b6, defending the weak point. Rook f1 to c1, Morphy brings the second rook into the attack, doubling on the c-file. Black's queen moves to f6, trying to trade pieces. Queen to e3, sidestepping the queen trade. Black's knight hops to g4, attacking the queen and threatening f2. Knight takes b6 check, a brilliant tactical blow. Morphy sacrifices the knight to rip open black's queenside. The king is forced to recapture with a takes b6, and now the a-file and 7th rank are fatally exposed. Black could have ignored the knight and played king e6, but then knight c8 check wins immediately. This sacrifice demolishes black's defenses and sets up the final assault. Rook to c7 check. The rook invades the 7th rank with check, and black's position collapses. The king must flee to d8, but there's no escape now. Morphy's pieces swarm around the exposed king, and black's pieces are helpless spectators. This invasion is the culmination of Morphy's entire strategy, relentless pressure on the weak king. Queen takes b6, white grabs another pawn and threatens checkmate. Black desperately tries queen takes f2 check, giving one last spite check. Queen takes f2, Morphy exchanges queens, simplifying into a winning endgame. Black recaptures with knight takes f2. Rook to a7. The rook swings to the 7th rank, cutting off the king. Black checks with knight h3 check. Pawn takes h3, Morphy captures the knight. Black's king shuffles to c8, still trying to escape the mating net. King to f2. Morphy's king marches up the board, and Black resigns. The position is completely hopeless. White's rook on a7 dominates the 7th rank. Black's king is trapped, and Morphy's extra material and activity guarantee victory. A masterclass in classical attacking chess from the great Paul Morphy. The Evans Gambit sacrifice led to a relentless kingside assault, culminating in a textbook demolition of Black's exposed king.